Good morning, everyone. Namaste. I'm going to call in Archangel Michael to cleanse this space, to clear out all negative and lower vibrations from our mind, body, and soul, home and hearts, placing the white light of protection around us with his blue seal. And today, guys, I got a small, skinny book that I was guided to get. And I'm very interested in reading this. This is called St. John of the Cross, Dark Night of the Soul, Dover Thrift Edition. So we're going to read the back of it, maybe start it. States, Dover Thrift Edition, a carefully curated library of the world's greatest literature of Dover Thrift editions are the most affordable choice for today's reader. The series often is a vast selection of complete and unabridged titles such as the classic work of fiction, nonfiction, poetry, or drama. The great Spanish mystic St. John of the Cross became a Carmelite monk in 1563. He helped St. Teresa of Avila to reform the Carmelite order, enduring persecution and imprisonment for his efforts. Both in his writings and his life, he demonstrated eloquently his love for God. His written thought on man's relationship with God were literary endeavors that place him in an intellectual and philosophical level, such as great writers as St. Augustine and Thomas Aquinas. I'm not probably saying that right. In this work, a spiritual masterpiece and classic of Christian literature and mysticism, he addresses several subjects among his pride, avarice, envy, and other human imperfections. His discussion on the dark night of the spirit, which considers affliction and pain suffered by the soul, is followed by an extended explanation of divine love and the soul's excellent union with God. Let's see if there's anything that I'm going to read. I guess we can start a little bit of this. It says, Introduction. Somewhat reluctantly, out of respect for a venerable tradition, we published A Dark Night as a separate treatise, through in reality is a continuation of the ascent of Mount Carmel and fulfills the undertaking given in it. The first night of the purgation is the sensual part of the soul, which is treated in the present stanza and will be treated in the first part of this book. And the second of the spiritual part of this speaks the second stanza, which follows, and this we shall treat likewise in the second and third part, with respectively activity of the soul in the fourth part, with respect to its passivity. The fourth part is the dark night of the saint, writes in passage which follows that just quoted. And the second night of purification pertains those who are already proficient, occurring at the time when God desires to bring them into a state of union with God, and the latter night is more obscure and dark and terrible purgation, I've never heard of that, as well as shall say afterwards. So I'm going to leave it at that. Just a little bit wordy, per usual. But I can tell you, as somebody who's experienced the dark night of the soul, it's no easy feat, and it's not something for the faint of heart. I just figured something out yesterday that can somewhat pertain to this. I figured out what my Cryon sign was in, and my Cryon sign is in the 11th house of Aries, which is currently going on right now, and it started February of 2019, and it will end in September of 2026, which is a very long period of time, but it will go on for 6 months after that till 2027. So it's a very long period of time. And if you don't know what your Cryon sign is, you can go onto Google and put your information in. You need your date of birth, the time of birth, the city that you were born in, as well as, and that information. And then it'll give you your Cryon sign, and it'll give you if it's in retrograde, direct, and what house as well. And then go ahead and Google that, and you'll literally get insight that you've never received about yourself. That is so interesting. And that is stating that because mine hit in February of 2019, where I hit my Cryon sign, that is where my spiritual awakening came from. The dark night of the soul, I believe, has been going on for a very long time with me. Maybe since I was 14 years old. I don't know. That's when my trauma first initially happened and things changed for me in my life. But figure out that information. You'll know if you're going through a dark night of the soul. And all I can tell you is this: surrender and be one with God. And we'll get into this book more. So I love you all. Have a blessed day, and namaste.